Good morning. It's Bernard Nomberg and David Nomberg. Another episode of Weekly NOMBERG Law Live. Today is Tuesday, December 31st. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Dave.
Happy New Year, everybody.
As we try to throughout the year, every Tuesday at this time, we try to bring to you weekly conversations with interesting people in their fields of expertise. Well, as we've done the last couple of years, is this time of the year we give you kind of a recap of the things that we've done at the firm over this past year. We're very proud of the things that our firm and our team has accomplished. We want to share a little bit about that with you over the next several minutes. We also want to share a few things that are coming up in 2020, and we'll get started. I think that overall, Dave, I think we've had a real big year of growth. We've had a lot of great accomplishments for our clients, for our firm, our practice, and I'm just real pleased with what we've been able to accomplish this year. Dave, this past year has been a real year of growth for us. I'm very proud of what our team, what we've accomplished, not just within the firm, but in the community. So I really want to kind of dive in a little bit. Give me some of your thoughts about this year.
No, 2019 was a good year for the firm, for us individually. We set out with some goals early in the year, and I think we've accomplished and met most of those goals, which is, both individually and for our law firm here, and continues to. I continue to love what I do and come to work every day is something that I look forward to, and it's because we're also because we have great assistants. We surround ourselves with really good people who care like we do about helping our clients, and that makes coming to work enjoyable.
Yeah, it's not an individual effort. When you hire an attorney from our firm, it really is a team effort. And when new clients sign up with us, we make sure from the outset we introduce them to each of the members of the team, Hannah, Emily, Alexis, Brittany, whoever it may be. So they put a face with a name and a voice that they're going to be communicating with over the upcoming period of time while we represent them. And whether it's work comp, Social Security disability, or personal injury cases, some of the principles are the same. Different types of cases, different laws, different processes, but the idea is the same, is to provide the best customer service that we can. And a lot of that boils down to the relationships, and within that, the communication. And that's one of the things that we really try to stress. But let's just we're going to pick some of this chronologically and throw in some things, and hopefully we don't lose you along the way. But I know at the beginning of the year, was that this past year you were named as the governance chair for Hart Gallery?
Well, I previously served as governance chair for Hart Gallery, Alabama. I served as vice chair this past year, and starting in January 2020, I'm going to be chairman of the board of directors of Hart Gallery, Alabama. And briefly, Hart Gallery, Alabama is a statewide organization that helps find forever families for foster children in Alabama. It's a wonderful organization that's doing a lot of good throughout our state, and I'm so pleased that we've been part of their team for many years now, and I look forward to leading the board in 2020 and hopefully improving upon the great work that's already been performed or is being performed by our talented staff and great board of directors.
And that's just one example of what part of our philosophy here is at the firm. It's an outreach into the community. It's paying it forward. It's doing those things just that you really may or may not expect out of another law firm, another lawyer, but it's just our way of giving back a little bit. And that's one of it, is being on the HGA board and being so intimately involved in what they do.
Looking up online at Hart Gallery, Alabama, it's a fantastic organization.
And we'll put, not only for Hart Gallery, but all these other organizations we're going to name, we'll put them in the notes below the video here so you can look at them. And you're certainly welcome to contact us if you have any questions about them as well. Another aspect that we really focus on quite a bit is growing our practice through social media, community grassroots efforts, digital marketing. Try to do it as organically as we can. That's just part of our approach, and that is, you're going to talk to me, you're going to talk to Dave, you're going to not be pushed off to assistants or paralegals or others in the firm. And that's just, we're just our way of showing you a little bit more about ourselves each time you see us on video or on blogs or whatever it is that you see from us. Well, I'm very proud again of our peer recognition, being B Metro Top Attorneys. That was another recognition we got earlier this year. I think it's one of those types of recognitions. I'm not going to call them awards, but it's a peer recognition. It's where people who you practice with, against, who know you in the community throughout the profession, they recognize you as being one of the better lawyers for what we do. And I'm very proud of that.
Agree.
Earlier this year, in February, we started a weekly podcast. As you may know, if you follow anything that we do with our firm, we have the weekly NOMBERG Law Live Facebook page, Facebook interviews and conversations, and this being one of them. Well, we've done about 140, almost 145 of those over the last 2+ years, which I'm very proud about, coming up on 3 years. But what we started doing in February is taking some of the past interviews, shows, and turning them into podcasts. And you can get them on Apple, on Anchor, on really, I think, 8 to 10 different stations or platforms that hosts podcasts. And it's the NOMBERG Law Live podcast. And we're very fortunate that we're growing it a little bit, and we're going to continue putting those podcast episodes out each Monday.
You can find those links to the podcast on any of our social media sites, and also we'll put them in the comments of this video.
Mm-hmm. It may seem like a small thing, but with us being a small firm, less than 10 people total, we really try to include the staff. And I hate using the word staff, but part of the team. Paralegals, assistants, whatever you want to call them, they're just as important as what we do, but a lot of what they do is behind the scenes. So making them happy, making their work environment is very important to us. Upgrading the computer system, making sure that whatever little things they need to help their day go by a little bit better. A coffee station, for one. We recently added back in the spring a popcorn machine. And it may not seem like a whole lot, but I promise you, it goes a long way. And when I smell the popcorn doing its thing, the maker doing its thing out of the kitchen, I know we've got some hardworking folks who are just getting back at their job during the course of the day. Well, Dave, let's talk about the Hart Gallery Classic, which I should have mentioned earlier.
Yeah. So that's put on in the summertime at the minor league ballparks throughout Alabama. It's one of Hart Gallery's big events throughout the year, and our firm helps sponsor that, and it's so our foster families and kids can come to a ball game, and sponsored by Hart Gallery. It's a fun thing. It's a good outing, and we'll be doing that again in I guess May and June of 2020. So look forward to being part of that as well.
And anytime I can go to a baseball game, you guys know me, I'm there. We brought on Alexis earlier this summer. She's become a very important part of our team. A lot of her work is not seen by the clients or seen by the public, but she really does a fantastic job of keeping our files in shape, keeping our computer system, the calendaring system up to date. And really, she's still currently a full-time undergraduate student, but gives us about 30+ hours a week, and really has become a good part of the team and gets along with everybody. So I'm glad that Alexis is on board with us.
And over the summer, Hannah had her baby, and Hannah was out for a few months, but she came back this fall, and we're happy to have her back. And then over the summer, Emily celebrated her 5th work anniversary with us, so that's we're proud to have them. They do a great job for us.
Let's see, you finished your time as a board member for ACJF, and let's see.
Moving into August, we I think we celebrated our 2nd year of working with the Vine Church in Birmingham on their food distribution, which has been a once-a-month thing for us that we look forward to. We go and meet up with the church members and Pastor George and help distribute food at the end of the month for those in need, and that's we just enjoy working with them, and it feels good to go and help people who need a little extra at the end of the month.
Yeah, these are some of the nicest people. They know us by name. We know a lot of them by name. and just us showing up puts a smile on our face, but more importantly, it puts a smile on their face, and we get to interact with them for a while each month that we go over there. And I'm proud of that relationship that we have in the community with Pastor George and his church. Let's see. Throughout the year, not just into the fall, but throughout the year, Dave and I make it a point to speak at seminars and conferences and continuing legal education events. Not only is it our way of helping to educate lawyers in what we do, not just Social Security or work comp, but it could be ethics, it could be dealing with social media, it could be law office efficiency. There's several topics that we've spoken about, and we probably average speaking at one of us every month throughout the year, and if not multiple times during the month. I think the last quarter of the year, from October to now, I think I spoke at half a dozen, maybe 7 different seminars, webinars, different things. But probably my most fun one was the one we go up and see Jeremiah Hodges up in Athens each year. He does a Toys for Tot drive with the Limestone County Bar Association. There were 30, 40 lawyers there, and we did our thing about marketing, and it's always nice to break bread with those folks and spend some time with some attorneys who we don't regularly get to see.
And even though we're the ones that are supposed to be educating the attendees, we always learn a lot as well. So that's why I like speaking, is because I can learn a lot from
Absolutely.
audience.
And one of the things that we try to do around here is we try to push the envelope a little bit when it comes to social media and digital marketing. And back in September, we started a new YouTube Live monthly program called Alabama Work Comp Today. And we spend about 25, 30 minutes once a month going over really a variety of things. We tackle and talk about some national news, national cases, and then we also talk about Alabama cases and some cases that we may have handled in the past that we think are of interest to the public, just all in the idea of spreading a little bit more information about how work comp works. And our topics typically deal with anything dealing with employment, whether it's employee, employer, independent contractors, gig economy, you name it. We try to watch the headlines, so we try to bring you 3 or 4 stories nationally, and then we try to bring a few stories locally, or when I say locally, in Alabama, and then we share a past case. And I'm really enjoying that. We're growing it, and hopefully we'll be able to bring on some guests in the upcoming months. But that's usually the last week. It's the last Thursday of each month, time and scheduling permitting, and we're going to keep growing that. Let's see, we've got an attorney referral network that we've created on Facebook, and that's just a group of lawyers who don't really have anything in common. But one of the things that has come out from that is we've started an Ask Alabama Lawyer Facebook page and group. And the purpose of it is that we're just trying to make it more accessible for people who have legal questions to get their questions out there. We've got 13, 14, 15, maybe a little bit more lawyers who are friends of ours, who we do business with, who have all signed up to be part of this Ask a Lawyer group. And it's a free service. All you have to do is get on Facebook, ask to join the group, and if you have a question out there, it could range from Social Security disability to marriage and divorce and custody issues, to tax, to bankruptcy, to criminal defense. Gosh, there's so many, insurance, you name it, that we've got a lawyer who's out there can probably get you your answers. And it becomes confidential. You put your question in the Facebook page, and then it gets routed privately to a lawyer. And we just started that up last month. We've got a whole bunch of folks who've signed up in the group. Again, it's free. I'll put the link in there in our show notes, but it's called Alabama Ask a Lawyer page and group is what you want to belong to. So I'm hoping that it'll at least bring a group of lawyers who otherwise would not be easily accessible to the public so they can get their questions answered.
At this law firm, we focus on work comp and Social Security disability and personal injury, but there's so many other types of law and legal questions. We don't want to be a dead end to people that contact us or that our clients that may have a question. Right. So we have smart friends around the state, around the city who specialize in those areas, and we want to try to get our clients or people that call us in touch with those fine lawyers who specialize in, say, bankruptcy or divorce or tax.
And we immediately had a few questions that were posed to the group after we began the page just a few weeks ago. So hopefully those folks' questions have been answered, and we're looking forward to fielding many, many more. One of the other things that we try to do is give back a little bit to our school, Jones School of Law down at Faulkner University in Montgomery. And we did a new program this year called an externship, and we had Kristen Goulart, who is going to be she's the third year. She's going to take the bar exam in July. She was my guest this past week, Christmas Eve, on NOMBERG Law Live, so you get to know Kristen a little bit more about the externship. But this past semester for class credit, she worked with us a certain number of weeks throughout the entire semester. And Dave, talk a little bit about some of the tasks, some of the things she did for us.
Yeah, so she did research for us. She did some writing. She helped us with some motions and some briefs. And then she came with us to, court. She attended court with us, mediations, depositions, so exposing her to some of the things we do on a daily and weekly basis, and just getting some of that real world experience. But she did a great job for us and helped us along with many of our cases.
Yeah, I thought it was a real good experience for us. Hopefully she learned a little bit and got something out of it, and we look forward to continuing that relationship with Jones, and maybe some future students can join us that way. Each October, as we've done many years now, we have joined in with, for the Race for the Cure in downtown Birmingham, Team Kate Has Hope. Team Kate was named after my late wife, Karen, who passed away in '07, and one of our friends, Kate McInerney, who lost her battle a few years later. But Team Kate Has Hope is an annual team that we put together, fundraising team, awareness for research, and hopefully to eradicate this dreaded disease. But our team, our firm, has joined the team, and we typically are the largest, if not one of the largest, fundraising teams and private pulled together teams each year. So we did that in October, which we do each year, and it's a 5K race in downtown Birmingham. So I'm very proud of the efforts for the team as well as our firm's participation. Let's see, Dave, what else we got coming into the fall? Why don't you talk about Willig and us out in California?
Yeah, so we're both members of the Workers' Injury Law and Advocacy group called Willig. It's a nationwide group of work comp lawyers, lawyers that represent injured workers. We went to the annual conference in October in Santa Barbara, California. It was beautiful out there. We loved it. I was one of the speakers. I was on a panel talking about law office management. I think we were out there. The conference is about 3 days, and we just had a good time. Met a lot of smart lawyers from around the country, and learned from them. Even though Alabama's laws are specific to Alabama, there are issues that we all face no matter what state we practice in. So it was good to be a part of that, and we've got some upcoming seminars that we'll attend for that for Willig as well, coming up in 2020.
Yeah, and what's your job title, or what's your current designation within the organization?
Well, we're both on the board of directors.
Right.
I'm serving on the executive committee,
Well, the reason why I bring it up is one of the great things about this organization is we have a network of practitioners around the country as referral sources. So if we get a call in from Minnesota or Iowa or wherever, we likely will know somebody in that state who practices that law. So I love that resource. Yeah. But also there's a lot of friendships. I know you've been in the organization for several years, and I'm meeting a whole bunch of new folks. But it really has become a great resource for both of us, and it helps us to help clients as well. Yeah. All right, we just celebrated our 2-year anniversary in our space here on Montclair Road, and we really love the location. It's a great building, and it really is very handy for both of us. I don't know, from a growing pain standpoint, we may have to acquire some more space at some point, but we're continuing to grow not just our work comp and PI practice, but really our Social Security disability practice has really, really grown this past year. And it really is headed in the right direction, and we may bring on some more assistants or maybe a lawyer. We don't know yet what we're going to do, but I know that I'm very excited about where this is going. And it really is with people living longer, with people having to pay bills and deal with everyday life things at a much longer into life. Social Security disability, Social Security supplemental insurance, all of those things are becoming more and more prevalent and necessary, and I'm just glad that we're in this field because it is a growing field, and stay tuned more for that because we've got lots of, on our YouTube channel, we have lots of videos dealing with Social Security, disability, workers' comp, personal injury, and these interviews are also housed there. So, and again, I'll put a link to that in the show notes here, but I would highly encourage you, if you have interest in those subject matters, particularly from an Alabama standpoint, get into that YouTube channel and you may find some stuff that is of interest to you. What we got?
Last month, we were selected or recognized as super lawyers for the 7th year in a row. We were recognized for workers' compensation. So, humble brag, but I'm proud of that. It's recognized by our peers, by fellow lawyers. It's not something. It's not an award that we pay for. We don't.
No, it's a peer recognized recognition.
So that's a big deal, and so we're grateful and appreciative of that.
Talk about the cold weather challenge. This is another thing that I think really is taking off a little bit.
So last year was the first year we did this. I think we announced it back in October last year and this year, and it's called #ColdWeatherChallenge. And what we're doing is gathering up blankets and hats and gloves and socks and donating them to local charities, local organizations. But it's not just us doing it. We're asking our friends to answer the cold weather challenge, or to accept the cold weather challenge. So Bernard cut some videos and we put that on social media, and we've been tagging our friends, asking them to do that. And for the 2nd year in a row, many of our friends and law firms have stepped up and have given graciously to organizations in their cities. I think we've had friends in South Carolina, Colorado, of course locally in Birmingham, that have answered the challenge. Anybody else?
One in New York, Texas, and I've heard from so many others that in January their firms are going to, when the holidays are down and things have settled down a little bit, they're going to jump into it in January.
So we're just challenging our friends on social media to do some good in their communities, to be of service, and they do, and they're generous and they give, and we appreciate that very much.
I forgot to mention that we were in True Vine last month. We did a turkey giveaway as part of the monthly distribution, and the looks on the faces of the folks getting the turkeys was just made it all worthwhile.
Yeah, that was nice.
It really, really was. Like I said earlier, we've done over 140 NOMBERG Law live shows, and we've got guests lined up all the way in through the spring. Look to continue to do that. That's really a lot of fun for me each Tuesday, just getting to have discussions with some really interesting folks and hopefully spreading a little bit of their expertise along the way.
Yeah, look in the comments section of this video for links to go watch past NOMBERG Law live videos.
All right, let's see. As I mentioned earlier, we've got a little attorney referral network that we have here in the state. And as part of it, we put on quarterly lunch and learns. And the purpose of it is to grow our practices, to learn more, share ideas, what works for your firm, what works for mine, those kind of things. Been very proud that we've had experts from different parts of the country who've spoken to us virtually or in person, and they just share about branding and community grassroots marketing, law office systems, how YouTube and podcasting works, and we're going to continue working on that. And really, again, that's just another area that I truly have embraced and really enjoy doing. We're now in the last days of the month of December. Everybody's into their holiday time, spending time with friends and family. No matter how close you are with your friends and family or not, hopefully this holiday season is meaningful to you and that you've set some goals for 2020. I know I sure have, and look forward to continuing serving our clients here in mid-state mid-state Alabama and various parts of the state, because I don't know how many miles I drove this past year, but it was a lot. It was a lot, and I don't mind doing that at all.
We just continue to look forward to helping people in the courtroom and out of the courtroom. We're both grateful that we get to do this every day and look forward to doing it again in 2020.
Well, guys, this will be it for this episode. This will be it for this year, but please catch us every Tuesday. If you have questions, if you want to talk to us about the law, about what we do social media-wise or in the community, just reach out to us, 205-930-6900. Our website is NOMBERGLAW.com. Of course, we can be found here on Twitter, as Facebook, YouTube, almost all social media platforms. Again, thank you all for your support, for your kindness, for your contributions. Anything that you've done that helps positively affect us, we certainly thank you. And hope you guys have a great new year, and we'll catch you next week. Take care.